All right, CNT125, we're working on our risk management lab. So I've downloaded a copy of the lab. What we're going to do in this lab, we're actually going to build our basic network. Once that's working, we're going to add some remote access. That's going to allow us to do some testing with some protocols and see how some protocols are insecure and some are secure. Once we've done that, we're going to do some network assessment. We're going to use a scanning tool to do some network assessment against our pieces of equipment. And then we're going to start implementing some security measures on some of our network equipment. So some of the things you read about in the chapter we're going to be implementing in this lab. All right, before we dig in, you'll notice I have a special note here. When you get to the lab room, do a double check on your lab PC, because we want to make sure that certain things are installed and certain things are not installed. So I'm going to open my I'm going to go to my Windows button. I'm going to type in applications. So applications, and I'm going to look for add remove programs type of thing, and I'm going to look for programs features. I want to actually see what's installed, and what I want to make sure is this. I want to make sure Wireshark and WinPCAP are installed. Wireshark is the program we need, one of the programs we need, and this is the plugin we need for it to interface with our NIC and that sort of thing. The other program we need is Nmap, and we only want to see Nmap. We don't want to see, let me show you over here, let me go back to our lab. We want to see WinPCAP and Wireshark, and we want to see Nmap, but we don't want to see its counterpart NPCAP. If we see NPCAP in here, we want to uninstall NPCAP, okay? So again, we're looking for WinPCAP, Wireshark, and Nmap. We should not see NPCAP. If we see NPCAP, we're going to highlight that and uninstall it, okay? The WinPCAP and NPCAP conflict with each other and cause issues with the two programs running. So do that double check first. If in doubt, please ask, okay? If in doubt, please ask. It'll cause problems later if we don't fix it now. So we're looking for Wireshark, WinPCAP, and Nmap, and that's it. If there's NPCAP, we're going to uninstall. All right. After we do that, we have a network we're going to build. We have this network we're going to build. So let's subnet, get our IP addresses on here so we have our game plan to start. So as we've seen before, we have 3 networks. We have this one, this one, this one we need. So we need at least 3 subnets. So let's dig in and start our planning here. So let me get my tool out. We need these 3 subnets. This time around, we can do, maybe we'll do 4 bits, so we have a couple subnets here, so maybe we'll do 4 bits, so 2 to the 4. We're going to end up having 16 subnets, so we'll have quite a few this time. 2 bits bar would be 4 subnets, 3 bits would be 8, 4 bits would be 16 subnets. So this was actually a /16, because this is a class B. This is /16, and if we're going to bar 4 more, we're now at a /20. Okay, so our default subnet mask was 255.255.0.0. That was the default. We're going to bar 4 bits here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 3rd octet right there. If I add that up, 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16, I end up with 240. That'll be my subnet mask. And secondly, since I'll put this back real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since we've borrowed out to the 128, 64, 32, 16 place right there, since we borrowed to the 16 place, our subnets are going up by a factor of 16. Okay, so quick reminder on all those pieces. So there's 240. So we're gonna have with 4. I should have put it over here. I got ahead of myself. I'll put that over here. So if we're going to borrow 4 bits here, we're going to have 16 subnets. We are going to have 8 plus 4, so we're going to have 12 bits left. So 2 to the 12 is going to give us 2x to the y. 12 is going to give you 4,096 addresses per subnet, 4,096, of which 4,094 are usable. So here is my 3rd octet. Here's the 3rd octet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, we've borrowed over to the 16 place, so our subnets are going to go up by a factor of 16. So 0, 16, 32, 48, 64. Okay. And if I needed to keep going, let me close that out. I can do the whole 16 plus 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96. Okay. So if I needed a quick way to check that 80, 96, that's what I could do. So there's my subnet plan so far. Well, let's get our broadcast addresses over here. So if this is 0 and this one starts 16, this has to end at 15. 16 to, well, this starts at 32, so this has to end at 31. So we're going to buzz down through these. 47, 63, and I'm just looking at this number over here and going one less. 80, 79, 95, okay? So now that's our third octet. Let's tag on the fourth octet. Remember, subnet numbers, all zeros in the host portion, so .0, 16.0, and these will be my subnet or network numbers. 48.0, 64.0, 80.0, 96.0. My broadcast addresses, all ones in the host portion. So my fourth octet for all of these will be .255. That would be all ones in the host portion. So these I can just kind of buzz right down through. .255, .255, .255, .255. All right. Now we need the usables in the middle. All right, remember, this is just showing the third and fourth octet. I'm going to tag the first two on, 160.0.1. That's the first use. Remember, the far right column will increment. Here, 160.16.1. 160.60.32.1. 160.60.48.1. 160.60.64.1. 160.60.80.1. And there will be my first usables in all those subnets. Over here, last usable, I'm going to subtract 1 from this last octet. So over here, let me get back to here. Let's go like this. 160.60.15.254. That would be the last usable. 160.60.31.254. Subtract 1 from that last octet. 160.60. Oh my goodness. 160.60.37.254. 160.60.63.254. 160.60.79.254. And then we'll do this last one real quick because we're here. 160.60.95.254. All right. So there's now my usable addresses. Now that I have those numbers, I can use them to complete my map. So over here, we can use the first subnet. We can start with 0 and go 1632. I think I'll do that. Over here, I will do the 00 subnet. And actually, I'm going to put the whole number in. I will put in 160.60.00 subnet. And up here will be 160.60.16.0. And over here will be 160.60.32.0. Those would be my subnets. And for the whole network, my subnet mask, I'll put it up here just so I have it for easy reference. My subnet mask will be 255.255.240.0. That'll be my subnet mask for the whole plan. All right. If this is my subnet, up here will be the first usable. I think on this one I'm going to do fast Ethernet 0/0. And up here I will do fast Ethernet 0/1. And I think over here I will do gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1. And over here I will use gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. So I'll use the zeros on my LAN and the ones on my WAN. All right, so this IP address up here, 160.60.0.1, that would be the first usable. And there's my subnet mask. My switch would be the next usable, 160.60.0.2. And then my workstation down here, 160.60, I'm going to do 0.10. I'll jump up a handful. Okay. My subnet mask is up there. I'm leaving that up there handy for everything. And my gateway, 160.60.0.1. It's this address that I'm attached to right there. All right, my WAN link here. This IP address, 160.60.16.1, first usable. This one will be 160.60.16.2, the next usable. That piece is done. This LAN over here, we have the 32.0 network, so 160.60.32.1 is the first usable. The switch I'm going to make 160.60.32.2, the next usable. And then the workstation down here, 160.60.32.10. With the gateway being 160.60.32.1, this router port I'm attached to. Boom, right there. Okay, so there's my game plan. What I will do next, I'm going to save that so I have that for reference, and I'll probably even make an image of that so I have it handy. The next thing I'll do is I will cable out my network, so pay attention to your ports you're using, and this time do pay attention to I'm having used the gigabit port on the switch here and the gigabit port on the switch here. Those are on the far right side. They're on the far right side because we are going to do some port security on the ports 1 to 24. We're going to do some security on those ports. So we're going to use the gigabits this time to get free of those. So I have my game plan. I'll take my map and I will cable up my network, and then we will start configuration in the next podcast.